Welcome to my parlor. Welcome, traveler, to the Hidden Corner Finds. I am Joanne, and this is my humble store. Pull up a chair, stay a while, make yourself at home. What? Oh, you want to know what I'm selling? Everything and anything. I mean, in short, I have a passion for. Ugh, why did it just bleep me? All I said was, I have a passion for picking, I said. Yeesh. You can't say anything on YouTube these days without this censorship. Anyways, as I was saying, I have a passion for picking. For me, there is nothing more satisfying than finding a unique and forgotten item and uniting it with someone who will really appreciate it for years to come. Whether it's a soapstone carving, an old book, or simply a mug to make you laugh, I try and find something for everyone. My goal is to make you a confident buyer. Older items often have a lifetime of stories to tell. I strive to describe the good as well as the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. It's important that the pictures reflect what you will receive. To that end, I always encourage questions and will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Appreciate you stopping by the store. If you can't find what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always looking for new ideas and will keep an eye out for your item in my travels. Honey, what the happened to my action figure collection? Whoops, gotta go. Bye.
Hello and welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger on May 30th, 2024. Today is a very special episode. I don't usually uh, do first impression or even review a brand new action figure that often because I usually like to give myself time to familiarize myself with the action figure and learn their story and play around with them, display them, and basically generally get to know them really well before I talk about them. But this episode, because our sponsor, Hidden Corner Find, they asked me if I can sort of jump the Lemurian Royal Guard from Savage Crucible to the front of the line because they have some of these for sale on their eBay website. So if you checked out this review, if you have, especially if you're in Canada, and if you look at this review and you've seen other review and you want to pick up yourself some Savage Crucible action figures, um, the Hidden Corner Find is a good place to start. Also, they have the cards. I do not like all these characters come with trading cards. I don't want any of them, so I basically donated them to Hidden Corner Find. So they have the cards for sale on their website as well as some accessories and replacement body parts and stuff like that. Also, a couple of the figures they're selling. And it is for that that they asked me to please do a review. So I picked the Royal Guard to start with because I have two of them. So I opened one and been messing around with it for the last 2 hours so I can sort of know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And I kept one in the package so you guys can see the package before I take it out of the package. I'm not going to show you guys the card because, like I said, I already donated all my cards to Hidden Corner Find so they can sell them. But if you want the card, you can find it on their website. Website is in our intro, and also I will have their website in the description, the video description itself. Now, before I begin and take this figure out of the box, we can see that the box is very fancy. There's some nice artwork on the front and back of the box, and it's quite large. Uh, Now, I have seen some reviewers say, "Oh, this is a very weighty figure. It feels heavy." No, it doesn't. It's it feels okay. Like I will say, like it feels fine, but it's not like earth-shattering heavy figure. It's not like when you get a Mythic Legion action figure in your hand and you go, "Whoa, that's a heavy box for such a small box." Or when you get a Gargoyles figure from NECA in your hand and that, "Wow, that's a heavy box." No, I do not get that vibe from this box. To me, yeah, it's heavier than Marvel Legend, but to me, it's no heavier or no more impressive feeling weight-wise than something you would say like from Mattel, Masters of the Universe, and stuff like that. So yeah, that is my number one impression. So weight-wise, it's not super amazing or anything, unlike what I've seen on some reviews. The box definitely is designed kind of like a NECA style box with a front flap that when you open, you will see the figure inside. Now, after you open the figure, the backdrop is a map of Lemuria. I guess that's the name of the land these fantasy warriors and lizard men, serpentines people, dragon people live in, called Lemuria. So there's a map in the back as a backdrop, and the card, the trading card, is behind the map. So don't throw that away. Make sure you check behind the map when you get your figure. Um, the unboxing overall, I'm not going to do the unboxing on camera. Like I said in one of the previous video, I hate doing unboxing. I hate the sound of the plastic crinkling and stuff like that when I watch other people's unboxing. So I'm not going to do that to you guys. Um, so I'm going to take it out of the box and show it to you guys in a little bit. But before we get to that, I want to quickly give a shout out to um, Harbinger Studios, especially specifically to Nikki Nicole Cheney, um, who has been an angel when it comes to accessibility support. Um, when Savage Crucible was first announced by Harbinger Studio last year, initially I was kind of curious because, it's a new fantasy line and I'm all about medieval fantasies and lizardman, that's something we don't see a lot, okay? Like, uh, I mean, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom by Sparrow Studio is coming out with some lizard of their own, but prior to that, we haven't really had any good lizard men in other toy line. There was a lizard kind of like guy in the Masters of the Universe Classic. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I'm going to bring him in for comparison later. So there was that one. That be my go-to lizard man for a long time, because there's just simply no other choices. So I was very glad to hear that Harbinger Studio was making Lizardman, but I almost didn't back the Kickstarter because there was nothing. Like for a blind person, that was awful. Like there's no description, there's no bio for any of these characters. Uh, they were basically going off of, look how cool they look. Well, I couldn't see them, so there's no story to tell me who's important, who's not important. There's no accessory list to tell me who comes with what. Um, and there's no description of the character or the figure. So I have no idea. Like it was literally a blind moment for me, and it was very frustrating. Like on the top of my head, I wanted to back it because I knew these were going to be lizard men, but I didn't want to back it because I didn't want to spend this much money because these things are not cheap. One of these is like 40 bucks. Uh, More now if you want to get them online. But back then when they were first coming out, they were like 40 bucks each. And that's quite a bit of money to throw out there blindly. Excuse the pun. So I reached out to Savage Crucible to Harbinger Studio uh, using their Instagram, and I really wasn't expecting anything out of it. Like my mindset was, well, I'm going to try, and if they ignore me, like Four Horsemen did, or any other, like the a lot of the other companies I've approached, Spiral Studio as well. Yes, I'm calling these companies out because I'm very fair. Okay, when you do something good, I'm going to address it. When you do something naughty, I'm going to address it too. I have more than once tried to reach out to Spiral Studio, asking, hey, these animals of Warriors of the Kingdom, they sound really cool. What do they look like? Can you give me a description? Because I'm totally blind. I want to know a little bit about what I'm buying. And I got totally ignored. I reached out to a few YouTube videos hoping to get a description, got totally ignored. Um, Same thing with Four Horsemen. Like now Four Horsemen's doing very good with including bios and stories with their figures when they put them up on their website. So I at least have a bit of an idea, like, do I want this character or not? But most of the time, it's still a poke in the dark. Like I have no idea what they look like, what kind of armor they wear, what accessory they come with. Uh, no, none of that information is written in text. You just have the photos to go by. So I've approached Four Horsemen a few times, wrote them emails and say, hey, can someone like give me a description of what I'm getting? No, nothing, no response. Like I never got anything back from them. So, because I'm such a big fan of Mythic Legions, I end up having to like send a link to some of my sighted friends. I say, hey, can you guys like give me a description of what the hell this is? Like, what does it come with? What does he or she look like? What kind of armor they wear and stuff like that. So luckily, I have some really good friends in the action figure collecting community that give really good description and can help me with that. While we are on the topic of accessibility, I also want to give a shout out to Big Bad Toy Store, one of my favorite places to buy action figures from. I have more than once reached out to Big Bad Toy Store. Sometimes when I am buying something from them and the listing is not very clear on what this is or how big it is. And I would always write them an email, and they would always either respond to my email with a detailed description, or there's a couple of times where they even called me on the phone and talked to me on the phone, gave me description over the phone. So kudos, Big Bad Toy Store. When it comes to accessibility, definitely very, very commendable. And again, going back to uh, Savage Crucible, Harbinger Studio, and Nicole Cheney herself, thank you so much for providing very detailed description for everything that was available, so I knew what I was buying. I ended up buying everything. Yeah, I did. I ended up like the only thing I didn't get was the um, Imperial Century, and the only reason being that it's just a basically repaint of the Royal Guard, and that to a blind person repaint nonsense. It doesn't do me anything. Doesn't do anything for me. So I didn't get the Imperial Century, but other than that, I got everything. So thank you, Nicole, for what you've done. Also, prior to starting this video, I couldn't find a written uh, any written documentation or bio for the Royal Guard. I found bio for everyone else, but I couldn't find bio for the Royal Guard. And thanks to, again, Nicole Cheney, I reached out to her and said, hey, do you know where I can get a hold of the bio? And she right away sent one, like she copied and pasted one into the email and sent it back to me. So again, kudos to Harbinger Studio having someone like that uh, basically help with accessibility support. I think this has been uh, one of the best experience I've had as far as accessibility goes, dealing with especially a new company into the onto the market. I think this is very commendable. So, without further ado, let's adjourn to the review workstation, and then we'll take this bad boy out of the box and take a look at him.